He was out boozing or playing football or rugby or something. He was never in, really. He never had a spare minute from coming home from work. He was back out again, you know. Ignored the family, really. I had some really bad memories. We all did of my dad, you know. Could be really nasty and drunk. He was a womanizer. I went back to school and kicked the 7 shades of out of that bully that was bullying me. I had enough of it, and I went back to school as angry as anybody could be, you know. And I went up to him and kicked him and smacked him in the face, and he fell over, and I kicked him again, you know. And the headmaster wanted to know what it was all about, and I said, that's why I've been wagging school for that prat. I said, but I'm not putting up with it any longer. Kept clear of me after that. I really psyched myself up. There was one big fella picking on a mate of mine once, and I just grabbed hold of him and lifted him right up over my head, and he just put me down. He was like a little kid who was amazed that I could do that, trained a few times a week. We drew on the walls in the discotheque gravestones and skull and crossbones and stuff, and wrote the Gravediggers Union and all our names written on the translucent bright green wall, you know. Go there every week. Thought some of the lads were having a bit of fun at first. I got up and looked round. I couldn't see anybody. Nobody hiding in the bushes in the distance or behind any gravestones. And I walked up the slope and I heard it coming directly. It was like in a wonderland, you know, like a miracle happening. It's on this grave and it said Bronislaw Zapolsky. I always remember that. I was awestruck. It was like an echoey voice, echoing, superimposed upon itself. I couldn't confide in anybody, my mother or Sonia or anybody, between me and God. I caught her outside college in Bradford and she looked a bit surprised to see me, and I walked her home and I was asking her about this person that gave her a lift, and she wouldn't tell me anything because she thought, why don't I trust her, you know? And I told her that Mick had seen her 2 or 3 days before going on through Bingley in the car. And I was really having a go, you know, to find out what was going on, and she wouldn't answer. So I thought there was something fishy. She would just couldn't believe that I'd doubt her, you know, because she expected me to trust her, you see. And it was like a bull in a china shop. I should have been a bit more casual about it. So that's what led to me thinking she'd been with somebody, and led me to pick a prostitute up in the first place. I said, I've changed my mind. I don't want to go through with it. So she said, all right, well, you know, it'll still cost you. I said, I don't mind, but I felt more sort of resentful than ever. Then I felt really bad about the situation. I was intending just to have sex with somebody so that I wouldn't be blaming Sonia all the time. And I got back home and I got depression again. And then the voice came for the second time. Well, I'd been saying things good for about 2 years, but this time it was giving me advice that wasn't really good, saying that there's a problem in society. Don't you realise why you've had the good advice for 2 years? It's all been leading up to this. You've got a mission to go on and get rid of these people. So that's how it all started, turned from good advice to bad. So that's when I started on the first attack with a sock and a load of pebbles in it, and I hit one on the head. It was a clumsy attack, proving it was my first attempt. Because the sock burst and the gravel flew out all over some parked cars. Just saw that she was a prostitute and just attacked. How come you were in a place like that when you're underage? He said they should have gone to the ballet or the opera, one or the other. And they showed the dad the tickets to go, and so I let them go out. They went round the pubs and discotheques instead. She stuck with me for many, many years, though, before she even thought of a separation, and all credit to her. And then even after that, when I suggested she find somebody else, she still keeps coming to see me. She really must have loved me a lot. Most women would have just washed their hands of somebody, but she knew me so well, personality and that she couldn't let go, you know. I didn't like it, because he used to load the tyres on the trailer by hand, and they were full of water, and you all the filthy water sloshing over you as you threw them up onto the truck. Big lorry tyres as well, most of them. I thought she was a prostitute at first, walking slowly and that, and looking round. When I hit her on the head, and it didn't knock her out, it was only a stick, and I threw her over a wall and said, "You'll be okay, I'm going," because I realised that she wasn't a prostitute. She seemed fairly young, but I didn't know how young she was. I heard the voice saying, no, it's a mistake. Stop. So I just said, "Oh, you'll be all right, I'm going now," and that was it. I hate that title, but it didn't apply. It was just a fantasy, a nickname, that, to get imaginations going. You got to do everything you can for your mum, bless her, you know. When they've gone, you've lost them then, haven't you? So you often wish I'd said this or done that. Too late once they've gone, because, I mean, they bring you up and everything, don't they? Feed you, clothe you, get you to school and everything, you know. And then some people don't care about the parents' condition or whatever, you know. They just ignore them altogether. And it's not right, is it? Because, like, it's important to do as much as you can. You only get one set of parents, don't you? They saw me attack her through the bedroom window, shouted something out, but it was dark, you see. So I thought, "Oh, Scarper," and I went down this snicket, and he went down the snicket and went across the road and knocked on the door. He must have thought I'd gone into a house there, but I didn't, you know. But I couldn't let him identify me. You can't argue with God. I firmly believed 100% it was God giving me the instructions to do those things. And I believed it was the right thing. He was distracting the police and leading them astray. And, I believed it all the time. He was protecting the mission, you know. And he kept saying to me, "Look after the mission. Don't tell anybody or anything. Don't even tell Sonia or your mother. Between you and your Creator." So I told nobody. God was in charge. He was conducting everything, and I knew everything would be all right. He misled the police several times, and I just knew it was a miracle happening every time, you know. But I was so able to be so calm when the police were questioning me, you know. I said, "Oh, I'm dying for a wee, so I'll just go for a wee." So I did, and I put these implements in behind below a bush. I was going to throw them over the wall, because there were some woods nearby, just over the wall. But I didn't, because I thought it might make a noise and they might realise, you know. I didn't hear anything. They took me back to the police station at Sheffield, and then they searched me and didn't find anything, and then they realised, one of them realised that I'd gone for a wee, and so he went back there and looked. It was only by sheer fluke that I got caught. It wasn't through clever detective work. I told them, because they said, "This tax disc doesn't belong to the car." I said, "It does." I said, "It's the number plates that are wrong, not the tax disc." But they try to take credit for things which they don't deserve, and they were too stupid to realise that there were all black tape around the edges of the number plates when they were taped on. I couldn't confide in anybody, my mother or Sonia or anybody, between me and God, you know. Well, they had an idea, they had the suspicions, but they didn't have proof until I told them. It was a relief for me, really. I know I was facing a long time inside, but it was a relief to get it off my chest. The whole thing was a farce anyway, as far as I'm concerned. It was just a plumbing farce. Because the Attorney General, Sir Michael Havers, agreed with the doctors, and he said to the judge, he says, "Your Honour, this will not be a full-scale trial, it will just be a hearing, a medical hearing, because all the doctors on both sides are agreed, 100%. And he said, "We'll see about that, I'll bring a jury in to decide." Where all that speculation comes from, because of the judge overturning the agreements between the doctors. He overturned it and brought a jury in, and when they found me guilty of murder, it meant all those other things as well that are not true. You know, like he said, then a sexual predator. Well, I'm not at all, I never have been. I was trying to stamp that sort of thing out when I was on my mission. They said it was a sex act to stab them in the chest or whatever. And, you know, and that was ridiculous, they said. it was a sexual motive. Well, how else do you stab somebody, you know?